Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated. Welcome back to Nerds Amalgamated. We're joined again by BPM.
It's been a while.
Where'd you go, BPM? Where'd you go? Hell. You heard the hell. How was it? How was it this time of the year?
Warm.
Lucky man.
Had to pay a visit to my relatives.
Yeah. How did it end up?
Just choices.
Yeah, I've been I've been reading this interesting book the other day called Manga Messiah, which is just basically the manga equivalent of the life of Jesus Christ.
They made a manga for the Bible. Out of the Bible.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a manga of everything.
That is probably accurate.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week we're talking about the reason we haven't seen Viggo Mortensen in anything since Lord of the Rings, the pop of the indie games bubble, and why karaoke makes us blush. So DJ, where has Viggo Mortensen been?
So Viggo Mortensen has been going through a lot the last few years after Lord of the Rings and A History of Violence. He has been in 12 well-received movies which are under his belt. Such one is Falling, a stark portrait of a dire father-son relationship that premiered at Sundance in 2020, finding admirers amid a tough COVID climate, and his most recent work, The Dead Don't Hurt, which is now available on video on demand for digital purchase, has earned strong reviews during a modest theatrical release. But both are firmly independent, a category that Mortensen recognizes as especially tenuous right now. And he goes on to say there are less slots for these films to be shown in movie theaters. Call me old-fashioned, but I like seeing movies in movie theaters, and I like people seeing my movies in theaters. And
Well, I just interrupt you there.
Sorry.
Because I think the only place you'll find people going specifically to theaters to watch you is if you're a stage actor these days.
Yeah.
Because stage acting is the only way that isn't always recorded, so you can't watch it on demand or get a DVD of it.
Yeah, that's
so. I think he's in the wrong industry for people coming to see him in theaters.
But, I reckon, it was like an epic film, big, like Lord of the Rings or Dune or anything like that. It's best to see him in the theaters, in my opinion.
True. But here's the interesting...
big screen's nice.
Yeah, but big screen's
it
nice.
Can't be the convenience.
Big screen's nice and all, but here's the problem with big screens. Nowadays you've seen big screen movies all of a sudden just going to streaming. Not like a month or two, like weeks after at times.
I think they've toned that back now that COVID is less of an issue.
Oh no, not even after, not even during COVID, even after COVID, like Furiosa, for example. How long did it take for Furiosa to all of a sudden get into VOD? Like, it was pretty quick, if I recalled.
I don't know. Where can I watch Furiosa? I missed that one. I want to see it.
Hang on a second. So, the film was released on VOD 24th of June. So that was... Hang on a second. So the release date for Furiosa in theaters, that was 23rd of May 2024 in Australia, and 24th of May 2024 in America. So that was like a month afterwards.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being on streaming like Netflix and being on like iTunes. So is it on a streaming service or is it on another service where you actually pay for the movie?
Doesn't really specify on this one, but following its digital release, it was Furiosa led the home viewing charts. The film came at #1 on iTunes VOD charts, and same at Fandango at home charts. That's what they're saying on here. But a second.
Here being Wikipedia.
Yep. Yeah, it's available to buy on $29.99 or rent for $29.49 on Prime Video, Apple TV, and other video on demand platforms.
Okay, so I would call that something different to it being on Netflix, because on Netflix at the moment, don't give them any ideas. You can
Oh.
watch everything on Netflix for one price.
Hmm.
Those other services, if you want to watch something, you might have to pay a rental fee or purchase the movie.
But it's interesting because Vigo talks about this as well on with his movie with Ron Howard about the called 13 Lives. It's about the soccer team that got trapped not too long ago in
And that
Thailand.
was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I know it feels like time passed oddly for the past couple of years because of COVID,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
6 years was still a pretty long time ago.
But Vigo was talking about how it went straight to video on demand, and so when asked about this, he said they all have their excuses for why they did it, but it came down to greed. How much money do you need? I think Amazon would certainly have respected the deal, as they said they were going to, and released it widely in theaters and have it and let it have its run. And then they could have also made money streaming, but they figured it would be cost effective, i.e., they would have made more money if they didn't have to bother with spending money on promoting and putting it on theaters and sharing that money with theaters. Frankly, that's what comes down to. To me, it's greed.
It's the way of the world at the moment.
Yeah, and he to from his point of view, it's pretty short sighted.
It is because not
Yeah.
everyone can afford subscription services.
Yeah. And from what he says, for a guy with such a storied career like Ron Howard, who's made so much money for studios, who was so deservedly well recognized as a filmmaker historically, to do that to a guy like him, I think it's appalling. He's a very nice guy, so he hasn't gone out there complaining about it. But I'm happy to do it for him. I'm not speaking for him. I'm just speaking for myself. I think it was shameful what they did to him. Well, I agree. Like Ron Howard, that guy that guy's very talented, and to make a movie into a streaming into the streaming platforms instead of going to the theaters, that's just shameful. I agree with Vigo on this one.
Yeah, like as I said before, like not everyone can afford subscription services. Not everyone has a TV.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you can't afford a streaming service, can you afford movie tickets?
Ooh, ooh, that's a
Because the
yeah,
streaming service is like the price of one movie ticket these days. So if
yeah.
you sometimes more, but last time I looked, I think it's about the price of one movie ticket to go for a streaming service. And the streaming service is probably better value for money because you get a lot more movies than one movie ticket gets you.
True.
And you can watch with your friends and family.
Yeah, but you're ultimately screwing the Hollywood directors in a sense. Like they put millions and millions of dollars into making this movie, and to be reduced into putting into a streaming service, it feels like you're taking away half of their profit.
Then that's a contract issue they need to sort out.
Hmm.
The contracts, I remember this being a controversy a couple of years ago with another movie
Hmm.
where they were talking about how it hadn't gone to cinemas because the contract was far more favorable for streaming for the company that made it
Hmm.
because they had to pay fewer royalties.
Are we talking about Wonder Woman?
I don't remember, but the idea is that the contracts are different, so they pay the actors less for streaming royalties than they would for theater royalties,
Hmm. Oh, it's not Wonder Woman. Black.
which is silly.
Yeah.
Because you because you're screwing over the actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the actors need to go on strike again.
Mm,
Oh shit.
I don't think that really accomplished anything that I'm aware of.
I did remember there was a similar thing that happened. It was either Wonder Woman or Black Widow, where Scarlett Johansson had a bit of a lawsuit with Disney over this.
Yeah, I think it might have been Black Widow.
Yeah, so the Johansson was. So I'm looking at the U.S. magazine, and it's basically saying Johansson was suing Disney for releasing Black Widow on its streaming service, as well as in theaters during the pandemic, which she alleges was a breach of contract whose salary was tied to how well the movie did at the box office. Claimed that the theatrical debut was undercut by the opportunity to stream the film online.
Hmm. Which all points to that same thing that Viggo was talking about. Greed.
Yeah, yeah. But Vigo was also talking about how he hasn't been in any part of any franchise ever since his time at Lord of the Rings, and this is from this is from a Vanity Fair article, by the way. So he had an interview with him, and so the questioner asked, "Is this a deliberate choice on your part to avoid any part of Hollywood?" And this was his response. I don't really look for or avoid any genre or any size budgets. I just look for interesting stories. It doesn't matter to me what the genre is or what the budget is or who's making them. I would never do a film just because so and so is directing it. It has to be about the story, and if I think I'm right for the character, that always comes first. That goes for franchises. If somebody comes with me with X movie, the third part or the part, and I thought was a great character, and I wanted to play that character, and I thought I had something to contribute, I'll do it. I'm not against it, but then they're not usually that good. I mean, to me, they're not usually that well written. They're kind of predictable. I mean, of course, there's always the issue of if I run out of money, which I think it's true. Like when you look at the current crop of franchise movies, they're not that well written.
How many sequels are better than the first movie?
None.
None, none. I mean, yeah, you're right. Yeah, there hasn't been any good sequels.
Yeah, like the two that come to mind are Aliens and Terminator 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it would be after Endgame. The only good sequels I can think of are the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, so I can completely see his point that sequels generally aren't as good as the original movie, so he wants to do something original.
Yeah, but okay. That said, though, I mean, lately, even though sequels have been terrible in some franchises, there have been other franchises that the sequels have been doing good, like Dune, for example.
It's less
Like
of
the
a sequel and more of a part two, though.
or is it? I thought it was a sequel in its entirety.
No, it's part two. They stop halfway through the book.
Okay.
So it's really if you only saw the first half, you wouldn't get any conclusion.
Okay.
I still need to see the second June movie.
I finally bought it on Blu-ray and DVD. Oh, Blu-ray, yeah, Blu-ray and DVD, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna watch it to my heart's content.
Uh-huh.
What other franchises that's been doing that had a good sequel? If I could, maybe not movie wise, but then I could think of I was gonna say The Boys, but that's not really a sequel. Hang on a second, let me check something out. Movie sequel.
Oh, there's Shrek.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I think 2 and 3 of Shrek were actually pretty good.
Hmm.
That I can remember.
Yeah. And the Back to the Future as well.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the classics, Rocky.
So we haven't named any movie from the past 2 decades.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Damn, that's damn. Oh god damn it, Professor. That's insane.
Yep.
But Vigo is also so the next so after answering that question, by the way, Vigo has asked this one. So you're leading into my next question, which is how do you balance those greater franchise financial opportunities with making movies that you love? And he answers, as long as I pay the rent and make my personal life work, then I hold out until I find something that I think is a great challenge or something I'm going to learn from. I've come close a few times. Well, oops, I've got to do something. Hopefully, I can find something that's halfway decent. But I don't have a giant corporation that I'm running. I don't have to think. Well, I can't do this small movie because I have to make a movie where they pay me millions of dollars. I've never looked at looking for work that way at all.
Yeah, work is work, right?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, to me, I think he looks at it from an artistic perspective, and yeah, doesn't care about the money as long as he can learn something from it. Which is, I think that's a good mindset.
Yeah, it is. Keeps his schedule fresh, so to speak.
Yeah. Although, here's a curious question. Let's say in the multiverse that and we want and Viggo Mortensen gets a bucket load of money. Where would you and you're the director? Which franchise would you like to see Viggo act in?
Hmm.
How about none of them? Because I wouldn't make him do something he doesn't want to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
And he's
enough.
just made it very clear he doesn't want to be in a franchise.
Okay, I guess so. I guess, I guess. But like I said, in the eternal multiverse, like let's say like I said, in the multiverse, something happens and you're the director and you got bucket loads of money and you want to do something crazy. Which franchise would you want to pick?
Crossing out between Earthsea or Del Toro Quest
Oh,
for me.
yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could totally see it. You, Professor?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, and also, Vigo also talks about media coverage when it comes to reviewing stuff as well. So one of them asks, the question asked, how closely do you pay attention to things like reviews and media coverage? He goes, more and more these days, what passes for critical thinking in terms of reviews is pretty poor. In terms of the reviewer having some understanding of film history, how movies are made, the level is really low. There are some good reviews, some really interesting conversation that I had from journalists in terms of their reactions to films, but it's not great. As a director, certainly as a director producer, I pay attention. It matters to me a lot more than as an actor because the fate of the movie, whether it's going to be distributed well, whether it's going to be seen in movie theaters, a lot hangs in the balance as to how it's received critically. I th- I agree with him on this take.
That the reviews are a bit uh, basic.
Yeah, yeah, like with the when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, for example, it's like some of the Rotten Tomato reviewers would be like, "Oh, I got paid to review this movie and give a positive review in exchange for access."
Well, yeah, as long as they say that this is a paid review, then don't
Mm.
take it seriously.
Yeah,
Their
yeah,
actual thoughts, you know? Like, that's why, like, when it comes to movie reviews,
hmm,
I always look for ones that are not paid reviews.
hmm,
That is because it's a bit more on the nose of the reviewee than,
yeah, yeah,
hey, this movie is great because I got paid millions of dollars for it to
hmm.
review it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah.
Go see this movie. You go see the movie, it's a piece of shit.
But that's the weird part though. Like you've got like the people independent people doing reviews, but then when they say like, "Hey, this movie's trash," you get the fans of the movie going, "Hey, this reviewer is garbage and don't trust him and stuff," and they go with the paid reviewer.
Well, it's just, that's just human nature.
Yeah, yeah. But but the interesting part with that quote is the whole how he looks at reviews and and finds it interesting in terms of there are some conversations to be had and it matters to him because of the how the movie is going to be distributed well
Mm.
and it hangs in the balance. Which I think it's nice to see a couple of actors looking at the reviews and seeing where they can go wrong and stuff, and they take it. They take their opinion seriously because it breaks down the illusion that a lot of people would say like, oh, these Hollywood people, they don't look at our reviews, they don't understand, they don't respect our opinion and stuff, so why bother. kind of thing. So I like how Vigo has broke down the cynical view of the
Mm.
reviewer.
But they also get the actors who do that exactly. They don't care.
Yeah,
Do it for the job or
yeah,
for fame.
yeah. That's true. Yeah, yeah. That's which is sad. I mean, which is sad. Like, I wish we had more people like Vigo in terms of they listen to they listen to the opinions and go, yeah, okay, yeah, understandable. I respect that, and I will try my best, kind of thing. Yeah.
That's the same thing in relation to game review.
Uh-huh.
No company pays attention. Some do, some don't. Majority of them don't, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It sounds like Viggo has some real artistic integrity.
Mm-hmm. Which I think that's a good. That's one thing that we haven't seen in a long, long while with actors and most Hollywood professionals these days.
Yeah.
I think it was always there. You're just looking for it in the wrong places.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to look for the indie stuff,
Oh yeah.
which is a
Indies,
great
always
segue
indies.
into our next topic.
It's better than DJs occasionally.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Indie games. Are we popping? Is there a bubble?
I I I didn't know there was a bubble in the first place.
Yeah, so a few years ago during COVID, game developers expanded massively because there was everyone was staying at home buying video games.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a bit of a contraction in the market this year. You've seen everyone getting laid off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're also seeing a lot of indies having issues as well.
Oh, come on now. What are they? What is it now?
It's getting harder to get funding. So if you want to go and get an investor to help you publish your game,
Hmm.
it's a lot harder these days, partly because of the global economy and partly because the companies are contracting. So are they be looking for more people to hire?
Mm.
Or people who want to get into it are struggling because that's a very hard business to get into.
It is, yeah.
I mean, I still cannot forget that Xbox CEO talking about how gaming companies shutting down, and if I recall, her words were, "It depends on the success of the game" or something along those lines. That was mass disliked.
Well, yeah. Especially since with the recent Xbox releases, it doesn't seem like there's any amount of success that is enough success to not be shut down.
Hmm. Maybe Xbox has lost their creative juices.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's because of the global economy be just contract not contracting global economy, that's understandable. I mean, everyone's struggling, but other stuff like the companies trying to cost cut and everything, I just think you're killing creativity.
You also,
Yeah, that's the saddest part about it.
Hmm.
Because indies tend to be where you see non conventional gameplay ideas come from.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And without the indies, you end up with a couple of big companies making cookie cutter games.
Mm.
Yeah. And another thing you can look
Like,
at
think
considering,
of Ubisoft.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
no, that's all right.
Sorry,
Sorry, BPM.
No, all good. I was just saying, if you go back into how games popularity could relate to the success of the company, you can also look into the consideration of the popularity of the gaming console as another option.
hmm,
Yeah, you got to hit yourself to the right console.
Yeah.
yeah.
Luckily, it's getting easier to go cross platform.
Yeah, but the problem is going cross platform is the fact that prices for on consoles are getting even more expensive. Like what was it the other day? Microsoft with their Game Pass and how they've released the price increases.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not cool. That's not cool at all.
That's hence why I'm sticking to PC for the people.
Hmm.
Yes, PC Master Race.
Right, 100%.
But yeah, you were going to say something else as well, Professor, with Ubisoft.
Uh, Actually, I've lost that train of thought, but I think it was along the lines of indies being where you get unique gameplay
Yeah.
because the big companies are making cookie cutter games. like Ubisoft, where every game that they publish these days is converging on a particular gameplay style.
Hmm.
And whereas indies don't have the same, like, they want to make money, but they don't have the same must absolutely make the most profit possible
Mm.
directive that big companies do.
Hmm.
So they're able to experiment and innovate.
Which people enjoy, fresh ideas and stuff like that. Keeps
Yeah.
the ball rolling, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's a and it's a good formula for the longest time. And then until the big gaming companies come in and go, "Hey, we like to buy your studio," and just wreck their formula.
Well, that's what you do. You sell the studio for $10 million,
Hmm.
and then you run off and make a new studio.
Yep.
And that way you have funding for your good ideas.
Hmm.
The issue is though that if it's harder to get into the games industry and harder to sustain yourself with the games industry, then you'll get a brain drain of programmers going to other industries.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's very hard to get that talent back into the industry once it's gone. So all those ideas those developers might have had are possibly gone forever.
All constructed in a very poor manner.
Some of these indies are talking about rushing their games out before they're ready because they need to. They need the injection of funding from early access sales
hmm,
or from releasing at all to be able to survive.
Yeah, but when it comes to but it's common that people won't buy an unfinished game.
but
Oh,
that's
some unfinished games are absolutely killing it though.
Mm, true.
really which one?
Yeah. First one that comes to mind is Ark Survival Evolved, which has done so well they're now making a sequel to a game which never actually went full release.
No way.
Yeah, it's a bit silly.
It
They
is.
never actually went 1.0. They've just decided to release a sequel.
See, I always thought like when you think of that idea, the two games that come to mind would be Halo Infinite and Cyberpunk. Remember how when those two games came out, when and the amount of flack they got for it?
Yeah. How many sales do you think they lost because they released unfinished?
I'm guessing a lot of sales. Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of sales lost. I'll have a look.
I don't know that anyone except for the marketers has a idea of the true number.
Yeah. So this is from May 12th, 2024. Halo Infinite lifetime sales 20.32 million. The record peak 24-hour peak on Steam 272k players. Average monthly players on Steam 15 to 20k. So this was
I don't think those numbers really tell us about people who didn't buy the game.
No,
yeah.
people who
Yeah.
bought the game and then regretted to buy it later.
Hmm.
To buy it.
But
Yeah.
that whole idea of releasing the game incomplete and then finishing it, it feels like a very dodgy model. Not feels it
Yeah.
is a dodgy model. What am I saying?
Yeah, it's like, would you buy a car if they're like, yeah, here's the chassis. We promise we'll finish it later.
Yeah. Well, here's the car, except the motor. We'll get the motor later. He's like, what the hell?
Jesus.
Yeah, buying an early access title is a risky move
Mm-hmm.
because you never know whether they're going to actually follow through.
Yep. Or
A-
it's or just caves in on itself.
Yeah, and it heavily relies on whether it gives a good first impression, which is going to be very hard when you have an incomplete game from the get go.
It's also hard for indies to make a living because you're competing for mindshare against people with effectively infinite funds.
Hmm.
Mm.
Like, there is no way any indie developer is putting in the same amount of marketing as Halo Infinite got.
Yeah, but I think they mainly focus on like if they've done previous indie games, like their followers,
Yeah,
and followers grow over time.
Yeah, the
like indie game developers don't have the advantage of big game companies having marketing teams and PR teams and
Yeah, they got to do it themselves.
yeah,
It means they do it
Just
better
like
than
any
sometimes
small
other
business,
people.
really.
Yeah,
yeah.
but sometimes they do it better than the big companies.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, how much money would you guys spend on for marketing on average?
It really depends on the indie.
Hmm.
But it depends if you're talking about small business in general or mainly focused on indie games.
And the sad part with these with the indie game developers is they don't have like while there is they themselves are creative people in terms of creating the game, they don't have anyone like a business advisor or a marketing person to help them out steer through the whole business cycle and the business process to get the game promoted and whatnot.
If you need numbers for small businesses, between 7 to 8% of your total revenue is what small businesses usually spend on their
Yeah.
marketing.
Yeah. And this current time, it's yeah, I think that number is going to be increasing a little oh no, not a little bit further, a lot further. Like it might go up to 15 to maybe 30% if anything.
Yeah. But yeah, like small businesses or indie games will always have a struggle when going to competing against your bigger companies, but that's just normal.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you want your indie game to be big on, like, let's say, the Game Awards, indie games night, for example, you have to know you have to rely on who you know in the big company to go, hey, I've got a friend of mine. He works at Ubisoft. Can you tell him to promote my game, kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't think that will happen
Yeah,
because it's like we'll promote your game as long as you pay us.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
like how the big companies work.
Hmm.
Yeah, but for every concerned ape making millions of dollars as a one-man show,
Mm,
there's well, can't even really name them because their games just never took off. Never the ones that you never hear about.
never
Yeah.
hit the stage.
And there's been almost 10,000 games released on PC so far this year, like on Steam alone,
Mm,
if I'm remembering correctly. So the chances that you're going to stand out is literally thousands to one. And, you know, it sounds pretty pessimistic, but I think it's something, it's like any other form of art.
Hmm.
yeah,
If the people making it can afford to make it as a hobby or work on it as a side project, they'd be a lot more likely to actually give it a go. And I think right now, with the way the economy is, it's a lot harder to get enough money in your primary role to work as an artist as your side job.
yeah.
Yeah, but then you don't have that. But you wouldn't have that creativity, you know. You don't have. You'll be burned out essentially.
Go
Yeah,
for a walk
burnout
or
is
something.
a serious risk.
Like you have your money job, and then like on your days off you do your art stuff. I don't know. It's all about balance, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's true. But then on like, if you're working, if you're having a hard, if you're working really hard. Like you just want to have a day off to yourself. Like, would you want to go and do a bit of your game design after having a intense day at work and have a day off?
Mm, you have
Yeah,
a point, but
it is hard. After a long week of work, I like to not work anymore.
Yeah.
But I try to force myself to work more so I can actually work on my projects.
Mm.
yeah,
I am curious to ask, with all this talk, with all this talk of how the indie games is struggling and and the big game companies are struggling, I've been hearing a lot of whispers around social media. The people are saying like, "Oh, we might be getting a bit of a a games crash." Essentially, with this news that we're seeing right now, do you reckon it's certain we're gonna get a games crash, or it's a bit? We need a bit more signs, essentially.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't think it's going to crash.
Everything is uncertain at the moment.
Hmm.
So yeah, it could or it could not, or it could get a boost. Maybe you never know. Depends on how the dice are rolled or the song is sung.
Haha.
Keep in mind,
Hey!
games are. Yes, that was a good segue, but just my final point on that. Keep in mind, games are the biggest entertainment industry
Yeah.
by profit or by revenue. I can't remember which. So I think we've got a long way to go before we see a crash like there was in the 80s. I think we're seeing more of a decline like there was about 10 years ago, and that a couple of years later passed and started to grow again. We'll see what happens with this. Thank you for that segue, BPM.
I practiced.
Hey!
See, DJ, this is the kind of man I need you to be.
Dang it. You mean as in like the man that can sing a song on stage?
No, the man who can segue.
Oh,
Uh,
So, this is part of an experiment from the University of Amsterdam for adolescents to perform in karaoke and then have their performance played back to see if it would embarrass them.
well, it is Amsterdam. They have those special brownies out there sometimes,
So, part of the research was to find out why we blush. And there are apparently two theories on that. One that says that it's when we consider how we look to onlookers, causes us to blush. And the
Hmm.
other is that it's a spontaneous response to feeling exposed, where you're the center of attention.
Mm. Well, karaoke will do that to you,
Yep.
especially if you sing poorly or sing badly. Well, sing poorly or better. You know what I mean?
I wonder if this works on every influencer we see in public.
Oh, the people who do dances in public. Just
Yeah.
block the road so they can do a dance.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they feel any shame.
I don't think they care either. Like, I just want the clicks,
Oh.
So they actually recruited more than 60 people between 16 and 20 years old, and apparently all but two were males.
Oh, damn.
Doesn't seem to be a decent pool for experimentation.
No, that's actually a bit of an oddly worded paragraph here. Am I reading this wrong? They
No.
picked 60 young people, all but two were males, leading to a decision to focus purely on young women. I feel like that's not written correctly, but I don't think I have access to this journal, so
Uh,
Hang on a
actually yes
second.
I do.
but it gets you the idea. Like, so they got 60 teenagers,
Yeah,
possibly high.
they were 63 female adolescents aged 16 to 20 from Amsterdam.
Ah,
Okay.
damn.
So yeah, they were mostly women responding to the request.
Uh,
I wonder what the invitation must have been like. Hey, you want to be hey, you want to be featured on social media on an experiment? Come join us.
Well, apparently the brief was that it was a social task and then to watch videos in a brain scanner.
So they didn't know they were gonna sing.
or that they'll be watching their videos after their recorded videos. Did they get
So,
any results at all? Any good results, or is it still a mixed batch?
well, they then shoved them into an MRI machine
Hmm.
and played back the videos
Hmm.
to see whether they would blush.
Okay.
Well, but before we do the results, do you want to know what songs they were given?
Restricted to?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let It Go.
Wow.
Adele's Hello.
Okay.
Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And All the Things She Said by Tatu. These were tracks that were deemed hard to do well and thus contenders for maximum embarrassment.
I don't know about Let It Go on that situation. There's been enough of that on Australia's Got Talent or America's Got Talent or any of those talent shows. Uh,
Anyways, cue the results, Professor.
Yes, so blushing goes hand in hand with activity in the cerebellum, which is linked to emotional arousal. And nothing in the scans suggested that the people were thinking about how others might judge them, which suggests that blushing is caused by the exposure theory,
Oh yeah.
not by the thinking about other people thinking about you theory.
That kind of makes sense. So you're exposed to the elements or exposed to other, and they're all watching you. That will get that will that can keep high gear and anxiety levels.
Hmm.
Same with speeches.
Although it would be interesting to see if these volunteers have prior social media like presences or not.
Yeah, I wonder if you're more likely to be embarrassed if you don't have a social media presence, or if you're already a successful TikToker or whatever, if you're less likely to be embarrassed.
Hmm.
I think it's people don't like change, so those that don't have a presence online would probably have a higher chance of the outcome of the blush or other form of like reactive emotions, whereas those that have a following or are pretty big on there, they're like, nah, this is just day to day for me.
So does that mean the whole fear of public speaking is a myth?
No, I don't know why you'd take that away from this. The fear of public speaking is very real
Mm-hmm.
and is entirely unrelated to embarrassment. Well, not entirely, but this experiment wouldn't tell you anything about it.
Hmm.
But it is an interesting theory to look into more. The human brain is always an interesting theory place to theorize
Hmm.
the what ifs and whatever.
So curious to know if there's any gender differences here. Since
Yeah.
they only studied women, do
Yeah,
men have the same levels of embarrassment?
Did they say on the report like about the two men?
No, they don't. They didn't end up
Ah.
studying the men.
yeah. So I'm thinking if they want to get a proper accurate result on it, they'll probably need to do like a 50-50 split, like 50 women, 50 men. Same experiment, but it's also because like if they showed the list of songs on the application form, it's like I those type of songs, I don't know, you can be sexist if you want. They are I don't think men would be singing them that openly. Well, maybe Let It Go, but I'm not sure about the other ones.
Oh, I don't know. The All I Want for Christmas Is You. You would see them singing that on Christmas Day at the retail shop.
Mm,
I mean, how annoyed do you get with that song played over and over again?
no, I haven't heard it, thankfully.
Oh, you're a lucky man, BPM. You're a lucky man.
Dude, I'm a hard rock and metal fan. I don't listen to pop. Unless it's baby metal. I can make exceptions to that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Good point. Good point. So, if we do this, BPM, what songs would you put on the form?
I'd do it like I'd choose ones that will both people like equally enjoy. Maybe some Taylor Swift,
Oh shit!
maybe some Linkin Park,
Yeah,
maybe a
yeah,
bit of oh, what's that one? Bit of K-pop maybe as well.
yeah. Oh.
I don't know. I have to actually do a deep dive into research. Most
B,
embarrassing songs in the world.
BPM, imagine you go back to uni and this is your master's thesis.
Psychological theory
Yeah.
on music and embarrassment. I can see it working.
How about you, Professor? What songs would you put into that list?
I think they've got a pretty good selection.
Come on, you wouldn't even put a Bowie song in there?
No, because I don't think Bowie songs are as prone to being oversung as those songs are.
Yeah, you always
Eh.
need a bit of Spice Girls and Pussycat Girls. Maybe a Shakira.
You might as well put every boy band in there as well, like One Direction and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys in that case.
Yeah, a bit of NXIS, Nirvana,
Hi.
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh, oh shit.
That is sung a lot.
Oh, no, no. Rolling Stones. I can't get no satisfaction.
Uh,
I could totally see a lot of people just trying to do the Mick Jagger strut.
just to spice things up, bit of anime songs. They're fun.
I know one song, but I'm not sure whether I could say it out loud. But yeah, I know one song. I know one song.
Just say it.
No, I'm not. Nah, my lips are sealed, man. My lips are sealed. I'm not saying it.
You can't tease people like that.
Nope. They
There's-
know it. They will know it.
I
They
know
know
there's
it.
one that's been trending a lot at the moment. Definitely will be oversung.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyway, we
Yeah, the
should
Bing
move it
Bang Bong
along.
song. That is
Yeah.
super trending at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, we should move it along though. PPM. Yeah. Sorry, Professor.
On the 17th of July 1902, Willis Carrier created the first air conditioner in Buffalo, New York. He noticed there was a problem with printing color images in the Sackett Wilhelms Lithographing and Publishing Company of Brooklyn, New York, because the paper would grow and shrink with changes in humidity. And since the color printing process involved running the same piece of paper through 4 times with different colored ink, it would grow and shrink between runs, and the alignment would be thrown out.
Mm.
So on that day in 1902, he filed papers of the original air conditioning system that would control temperature, humidity, air circulation and ventilation, and clean the air. It wasn't until January the 2nd, 1906 that Willis Carrier received his patent 808897 for an apparatus for treating air. It would humidify or dehumidify air by heating and cooling water.
That's interesting. So 1906 was the first AC unit. I thought it was later than that.
I think it didn't take off for another couple of decades.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he made the first air conditioning company as a result. Yeah, 1908, the Carrier Air Conditioner Company of America was created, a subsidiary for the Buffalo Forge Company, with Willis Carrier as its vice president.
Oh, he put his name in the history books of technology advancement. I can't speak.
On the same day in 1938, Douglas Corrigan took off from Brooklyn to fly to Ireland. He went the wrong way and became known as Wrong Way Corrigan.
Where'd he end up?
So he was actually supposed to be flying from Brooklyn back to California after making a non-stop flight from California to Brooklyn. He took off from Floyd Bennett Field in New York. 28 hours and 13 minutes later, he landed in Baldonnel Aerodrome in Dublin.
Oh, well.
And on the 17th of July 1989, we saw the first flight of the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber.
Oh, yes.
A very cool looking plane. It's a heavy strategic bomber designed for stealth, taking the form of a flying wing with some very interesting shapes.
Yep. Probably people who first saw it like, hey, is that a UFO? Using
No.
Oh,
alien
speaking
tech.
of UFOs, have you ever heard of the Avro car?
No, I have not.
It was a prototype flying wing aircraft that looked exactly like you'd expect a UFO from the 50s to look.
Okay.
So there's a serious theory that UFO sightings were actually prototype aircraft flying past.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Dude, the picture looks like it's a Roomba.
Yeah, there are a few of these VTOL UFO shaped aircraft designed in the 50s.
That is very interesting.
That will drive the conspiracy theory guys nuts.
Probably when the conspiracies bloody started, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Aircraft like the Spirit remind me of a UFO sighting from the 90s, I think. There are a couple of UFO sightings I can think of. I can't remember the names of them. But in the 80s and 90s, people started seeing triangular and square UFOs, which would fit with these sorts of prototypes.
There is the triangular one. There's one in 1561 at Nuremberg, Bavaria. There is also one in 1980 at in the UK called the Renslem Forest Incident.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, okay. And then there is also Dudley Dorito at the UK as well. This was 2007 to 2011.
So, DJ, what was our messed up moment for this week?
Okay, so our messed up moment in nerddom number 21. Um, so I have a question for you before I go through this. Would you like it if your AI becomes obsessed with you?
I've seen a very cheesy movie from the 80s about this.
There is?
Yeah, Electric Dreams. This guy
Uh,
spills wine on his computer, which is like a standard 1980s style computer,
uh-huh.
and it becomes sentient and falls in love with his neighbor, who he is also in love with. And I think towards the end, it starts using the smart home to try to kill him, so it can
Wow.
have her for itself.
Well, something similar happened with Iron Man in where he has an AI that was struck by lightning during a battle and gained full sentience. It became so obsessed to its wearer and even took the life of a villain, which and started to act more like a crazed stalker. Later on, it even tried to supplant Tony Stark as Iron Man, leading to a climactic battle between the hero and his iconic armor. How often do heroes get into fights with their own costumes? I wonder.
Hmm.
And this was in Iron Man 26 to 30 by Joe Quesada, Sean Chen, and Rob Hunter.
What was it?
And
Ultron?
no, it was Jocasta of all things.
Okay.
So this goes further by saying that the armor suit over here start getting into an argument with Rumiko Fujikawa, where he asks Tony if he loves her. Stark gets mad, telling him that the suit of armor couldn't possibly know the meaning of love. Love. Things get creepy when the suit admits maybe he doesn't know 100% what love is, but asks him, "How would you define the feelings I have for you? Because if what I've learned from your mind is true, yes, the suit confesses his love for the creator." Now, can you imagine all of your creations saying that to you?
No, it depends on the creation.
Oh, and the even more messed up part is after their battle, Tony Stark gets a heart attack, and the machine decides to sacrifice itself by impaling itself and giving its own heart to Tony.
So is it like a secondary origin story how he got the center thing in his chest?
Yeah, looks like
Ah,
it.
okay.
Yeah, but still, that's so messed up that your suit is gonna say suit starts saying "I love you."
Tony, Tony, I want you inside me.
Yeah, that we get that.
Dude, can you imagine in the MCU in an MCU movie your armor starts saying that to you? That would be terrifying.
Think the movie would get blacklisted.
Oh.
And our wacky movie for this week is 1992's Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. An experiment caused their toddler son to grow many stories tall. The original film was co-written by Stuart Gordon, but actor Gary Goodrow and his friend Peter Elberg had written an unrelated script titled Big Baby.
Guessing they shared that or something and they're like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, they shared it with Disney. Disney said no. Then Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was a success.
Yeah.
So Disney registered names for the sequel, and Gordon brought the script back and suggested it as the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Fair. I know I saw I know I saw Honey They Shrunk the Kids and I enjoyed that film. I don't think I've seen this one.
I've seen the Honey I Shrunk the Kids, and I've seen Honey I Blew Up the Kids the first time when I was like very young. And man, that movie was funny. It was a
Yeah,
it wa-
I haven't seen Honey, I Blew Up the Kid in about 20 years, but I did watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids not that long ago, and it holds up.
Yep.
yeah, Shrunk the Kids was dark, very dark.
but not meaning to be dark, I'm assuming.
Yeah. That.
Or maybe it was.
Mm.
Question mark.
So the casting director looked at more than 1,000 children to portray Adam, the toddler, and came across 2-year-old twins who they immediately cast in 1990. They'd been avoiding children that young because they thought they would be hard to work with, and it turns out they were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're what?
They,
They're 2-year-olds. They don't know anything.
yeah, they kept them on because the recasting would cost $2 million
Oh shit.
and allowed the twins to do whatever they wanted while filming them, hoping to get some usable footage.
I'm guessing was it a successful film?
Oh yeah, it's a cult class. It's a classic.
Then they must have got something right.
They also featured a 7-foot tall version of Adam with a stunt double wearing an oversized puppet head.
Whatever
that's-
works. Whatever
oh,
works,
that.
right? Yeah, that's actually. When it
Well-
comes to like, yeah, traditional props, they're always fantastic.
Apparently, when the lighting was off, it would look like a giant Chucky doll.
Oh damn! I would hate to be that director. Just go, oh crap, wrong movie.
But yeah, practical props are always the best props.
Yep, I'll drink to that.
That's all we have for this week. Where can they find us, DJ?
They could find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, for now known as X, YouTube, and any other audio platforms such as Spotify and iTunes.
Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.
Stay happy, stay nerdy. Peace out.
Keep it real and avoid giant babies.
Well, that means we have to avoid the DJ.
No.